Hello and welcome to my Sunday From. So today I just have a really quick read, and I have an update for Veracruz, Mexico, and Mexico in general regarding the flood that came from consecutive hurricanes back to back to back to back, and it caused a bunch of storms on both sides of the country, from like the Gulf in the Caribbean all the way to the Pacific Ocean. There was a big rise in storm activity, and it caused both sides to um, erupt in tropical weather, and thereby making Mexico a six statewide um, emergency crisis. So they had a bunch of flooding and landslides and things like that, heavy rainfall, and it caused, especially in Veracruz, it caused 20 deaths and he had went missing. Um, and it actually caused a lot of damage to residential areas that are still inaccessible as well. And now they're coming out that the University of Veracruz has 200 plus missing. They're not sure how many, but the ones that were on campus, they counted up to 200. And so they're asking for Claudia Scheinbaum to look into all these things that are going on because they haven't had any aid deployed other than civilian activism coming to support their um, their neighbor. So Claudia Sheinbaum, I have an update as of October 14th, 2025. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum visits hard hit Poza Rica. Risa. It says, greeted with anger, hurt, disappointment, the crowd was met with more cause for devastation, as well as was all was done was promised transparency regarding no food, water, Wi-Fi, electricity, search and rescue, materials, aiding and recovery. So the materials that they requested to aid in the recovery have still yet to be sent. She never said that she was going to send them. She said by Friday, they should have the roads clean. Um, so I'm not sure if she'll make good on that, but she said by Friday, the road should be clean, and she would definitely push for Thursday to get this, you know, this situation under control, because they also have some people whose bridges were um they were actually they broke the bridges, and they have this huge river that is actually between them and civilization. So a lot of those communities that have one little bridge, and they had a jinky bridge, and it failed, they're not being able to access those communities, and those communities are not able to leave and seek higher ground. They're not able to find shelter or um, aid at all, so they can't go and find food or nothing like that. They're just stuck there, and nobody has communicated with them because them too have zero Wi-Fi, zero electricity, etc. And I feel like these things that are going on are being pushed, you know, under the rug because they don't want to look bad. So that's the update as of now. People are kind of upset that they're not receiving, concerned people too are upset that they're not receiving um, fair um, treatment. And they're in a very, very dire crisis right now. Like I said, there's so many. They have pets, they have kids, there's elderly people, they don't have medicine. I mean, you name it. That, just your daily life, just being pulled out of that and not even a clean floor to sleep on. It's all muddy. Everything's muddy from 3 stories up. And yeah, I just thoughts and prayers with all the people affected. And you know, in these situations because, you know, what more could you count on than your government to fail you? And, do you see like having met with the president face to face did nothing but cause more, I'd say, damage because, you know, they thought that because she is a female, she would have more empathy and be more sympathetic to the situations that occurred. And she was not. She was very stern. I'd say, she really was kind of callous and kind of um, very neutral. She didn't really show any emotion. She just didn't want people in her face about it. And that it in and of itself proved to me, that she was really not trying to hear anything. She just wanted to get out her notes and tell them what she thought was the best reasonable time that the military could access all roads and blockage to some communities because those roads are, they have like allegedly have checkpoints on them, and people can't just reach out and help. A lot of people have to go around the blockades, and they're in shuttle buses and stuff, and they have shovels and brooms and stuff, and they don't have very much aid. But it's like making it very hard for anybody to access them. So, I feel like there's a sense of distrust right now in the country when everybody should be unified in making progress on, allowing for these people to heal, to recover, because like there was a lot of deaths and there's hundreds missing still. And like I said, the death toll might even rise. So, Leland, Mississippi, October 11, 2025, Leland High School. There were 4 deaths and 20 injuries, and a mass shooting reported at a football game. Video quickly went viral. Players running from the field. They ran off the field as shots rang out. Many in bleachers took cover for safety. The annual homecoming game at the high school um, that's what they were that was being held at the stadium or at the field. The shooter was identified as 18-year-old Tyler Jared Goodlove. He was arrested. 6 people total were killed during the weekend in high school football game related shootings. In Mississippi, all 4 who had gunshot wounds were airlifted to the hospital. 4 deaths and 20 injuries. St. Helena Island, South Carolina. Willie's Bar and Grill in Beaufort County, devastated with mass shooting. Willie Terrell, the owner, claims after a high school game packed in, stemming from a homecoming celebration, interrupted with shots fired and rang out. Many sought shelter in nearby businesses. Battery Creek High School alumni ended their event in tragedy. 4 are still in critical condition. October 13th, 2025. Let's see, it says Tropical Storm Lorenzo eyes northern Africa, including Algeria, Morocco, as well as Azores, as it makes its way after a U turn towards Portugal, Spain as well. Continues being monitored with 45 miles per hour wind as of 10/13/2025. So I haven't updated that yet because it was still in the middle of the ocean. Hamas releases remaining hostages. Bodies are not all recovered yet, and search and recovery is yet to be determined. Though Netanyahu, whose 5-year-old niece was among the living, was saved, and he gave speech of relief, resilience, and hope. Second-term President Donald J. Trump, we will speak later. And 20, the update is 20 since midnight. Some were hospitalized with the Red Cross. So, congratulations on that effort. I think it was very, very, very crucial to start peace talks when, um, there's something positive gained, a win, so to speak. And that will just completely change the narrative of our future into something more positive because when you look at it, everything as far as the bigger picture is concerned, and you just have a bunch of negativity and a bunch of old, bunch of old negative themes that actually occurred before, a lot of us, you know, became involved in this whole situation as far as free Palestine or anything whatsoever. I think there's a lot to be said about what can be done when we get together and we create an atmosphere that, can cause, success um in being peaceful, with our neighbors and, and counting on each other um as far as keeping your word, also, you know, being able to make new allies. That to me is important, in our future to be able to continue being resilient, being active, and neighborly. I think it's such an important concept. So, Lima fire after pyrotechnic factory explodes, no fatalities. Peru had over a dozen homes destroyed. It caused 8 stations to respond to this fire. Um, Southwestern states flooded with consecutive storms passing through, forming in the Mexican coast. They moved northward and east slowly, becoming disorganized. Sometimes they stay tropical storm strength. So, the lower southwestern portion of the United States, like Arizona, New Mexico, SoCal, those states were hit by storms, tropical storm strength weather, because just like Mexico was hit with the tropical weather, um, because of the storms that had formed in Mexican waters. These storms actually moved in to the land, that was U.S. soil. So these storms, you know, hovering over the southwestern states cause extreme weather conditions and extreme flooding. They said, oh, 2 months worth of rain in 24 hours fell. And yeah, like people were scrambling for higher ground. Typhoon Long remnants caused 20 missing, 40 plus rescues in Alaskan coast. It was struck with hurricane force winds, flooding, and the flooding quickly swept away coastal villages. And residents say they went with no warning, so they didn't know that Typhoon Halong was just off coast and coming their way. They had no alerts. They said they were just in their home, you know, and the storm came in, it came through, it flooded, lifted homes off the foundations, and just swept them into the ocean. So, like I said, they're still trying to find the 20 missing and recover from this. A rise in violent crime in Peru caused the impeachment of Dina Boulardi, who served 2022 to 2025. So she was deemed corrupt, because she was plagued with corruption and crime in Peru that was ceaseless. And because she could not put an end to it, or did not want to, and failed to um, pull the country out of this, she was impeached, and Jose Jerry was took her place as interim president. So his name is Jose Jerry, who is the interim president right now. And so this just happened in Peru. And you will see like a lot of places that, you know, they just suffer under the hands of tyranny and in silence, and they do nothing. And I feel like Peru is a good predecessor for whenever they feel like their gut instincts telling them to do something different, they just do it, and they don't worry about what other people have to say. They just do it for the people. And I feel like Peru is so inspirational in my opinion. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. My Sunday from. Bye bye.